Sean Diddy Combs denied bail yet again as he awaits trial on charges of trafficking and
A courtroom bombshell left Diddy visibly shaken. His attorney had no way to prepare for the footage that would change everything. The room fell silent. The judge barely had time to process the prosecution's words before Diddy's face drained of color. His legal team scrambled, whispering in hushed tones, but there was no stopping it now. The moment the prosecution announced they had video evidence featuring a teenage Justin Bieber, the energy in the room shifted. "We are going to get started with something that Diddy and his lawyers knew was coming down the pike eventually, and now it has happened, a new indictment," the prosecution declared. Or rather, it was called a superseding indictment. It replaced the original one that the federal prosecutors had filed against him. The big headline here was that now they were saying there were 2 more victims. This wasn't just another lawsuit or another allegation. This was something different. And for the first time, the man who built an empire, confidence, power, and untouchability, looked genuinely afraid. Sean Diddy Combs reportedly underwent treatment in a hospital as he continued to await trial on 6 trafficking charges. According to Page 6, the 55-year-old was transported from the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, the federal prison where he had been held since his September arrest, on January 30 to undergo an MRI. He was then soon returned to police custody later that night. But let's back up for a second, because to understand why this moment was so devastating, you have to understand the web of chaos that led to it. Sean Diddy Combs, once the king of hip-hop, was now fighting for his legacy, his freedom, and possibly his entire empire. Multiple lawsuits. Federal charges. And in the meantime, let's talk about the fact that Combs' co-defendant in a civil case, a case that accused him and another A-lister of rape, had begun attacking the attorney behind the case. This co-defendant insisted that the attorney be sanctioned for allegedly not doing his job. We're talking, of course, about Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z. Once again, he was calling out attorney Tony Busby, questioning his character and the credibility of his filings. Jay-Z claimed that the Texas attorney's lawsuit contained substantial inaccuracies and that there was a failure to properly investigate before filing. Now, we've talked about this before, but here's a recap. A civil lawsuit was filed against Sean Combs on behalf of Jane Doe, who claimed that she was raped by Combs and another celebrity at a home after the Video Music Awards in 2000. She alleged she was just 13 years old when it happened. Weeks after the initial filing, Busby submitted an amended complaint, naming Jay-Z as the celebrity who allegedly participated in the assault. Whispers of a lifestyle so dark, so predatory, had begun swirling. Even his closest allies were distancing themselves at record speed. And right in the middle of it all? Justin Bieber. Those claims, anyways. But before diving deeper, I want to show you something. A montage shared by Evie Magazine on their TikTok showcased a young Justin Bieber, just 15 years old in Hollywood, surrounded by a bunch of adults. And you tell me if any of this seems normal. Applause. Wow, I feel violated right now. Wow. Lean into me again, you smell amazing. How old are you? Thank you. How old are you? I'm 16. I'll be 17 in like 2 weeks. I don't ever remember smelling that good at 16. Like, I was bad. Wow, look at your eyes. Look at what a beautiful face. For years, people speculated about Diddy's strange influence over the young pop star. But after Diddy's arrest in September, fans started putting the pieces together. Why was Bieber always around him as a kid? Why did Diddy speak about their time together like it was some kind of secret rite of passage? Then came the resurfaced footage. A clip from 2009 suddenly began making rounds online. In it, Diddy was seen boasting about spending 48 hours with 15-year-old Bieber. "What we're doing, we can't really disclose," Diddy bragged, grinning at the camera. But it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. Bieber, sitting beside him, played along. Let's just go get some girls. Justin Bieber had turned 15, and suddenly, it seemed Hollywood was eager to initiate him. That's the right word, like there was almost a ritual he had to go through. I want you to be super uncomfortable now as you watch this video of an interaction between Bieber and none other than Diddy. Justin, he's in, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy. Him and his boy, they're having the time of their lives. Like, you know, where we're hanging out, what we're doing, we can't really disclose. But, it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him, you know? He signed to Usher. I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So, we're going full buck, full crazy. We're going crazy. At the time, it seemed like nothing more than an odd exchange between a powerful music mogul and his young protege. But after the allegations against Diddy exploded, that clip started looking a whole lot more sinister. So young Justin Bieber, signed by Usher, managed by Scooter Braun, was now suddenly in the hands of Diddy. It is true that Diddy had become the legal guardian of Usher. And if you look up all the allegations against Diddy, you'll see multiple lawsuits alleging something disturbing. If we were to put it in a more polite context, or at least use a euphemism for something truly horrifying, the allegations essentially state that Diddy initiated Usher into Hollywood. And as these lawsuits pile up and Diddy sits in prison, we are recognizing that everyone knew. This was an open secret, what Diddy was doing. So that begs the question, who allowed Justin Bieber to be in the presence of this man, knowing what he was allegedly up to? Because at this point, the claims seemed to carry some serious weight. And then, the unthinkable happened. Inside the courtroom, an attorney for the prosecution produced a video. A piece of evidence so significant that Diddy's legal team immediately objected. But it was too late. The judge allowed it. Now, the defense wanted copies of these videos handed over to them, not just the ability to view them at the prosecution's office. They wanted their own copies of the evidence. I've spoken to lawyers about this before, and there's a big advantage to having the actual electronic video evidence in your possession. You don't have to keep going to the prosecution's office to review it. You can view the materials on your own, analyze them, and prepare your defense more thoroughly. And Sean Combs' lawyers argued that under the federal rules of criminal procedure state that if the defendant asks for it, the government must provide the defendant with the opportunity to inspect and copy electronic data that is in the government's possession. Judge Subramanian denied the defense's motion to amend the protective order but without prejudice, meaning this issue could be revisited. Subramanian's order states, while the government objects to handing the videos over, they provide several options for the defendant to consider that would permit the defense to view the videos, access the information they're looking for, and even allow them to manipulate the videos as they see fit. For years, Justin Bieber has dodged questions about his early career, his mentors, and the industry figures who shaped him. However, ever since Diddy's legal troubles began, Bieber has been making quiet moves that suggest he is distancing himself from his past. A source told Entertainment Tonight, ET, that Bieber has more on his mind than Diddy's arrest. The source said, the new dad's energy is going towards wife Haley and son Jack, and he's not focused on what is going on with Diddy or the allegations against him. Holmes allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs. The insider info came after footage of Diddy and Justin resurfaced on social media. Videos showed the disgraced media mogul alongside a teenage Justin, leading online speculation about whether, at the time, he had subjected the pop star to his alleged freak-offs. First, Bieber unfollowed Usher, a small act, perhaps, but significant considering Usher was the one who introduced him to Diddy. This raised eyebrows. Then, he cut ties with Scooter Braun, his longtime manager and the man who was supposed to protect him in the industry. Justin was signed at just 13 years old. Notably, he was signed by Usher to a label that was co-owned by both Scooter Braun and Usher, and Bieber was considered Usher's protege. Bieber had often described Usher as his mentor. Now, Bieber has unfollowed Usher, signaling a clear break from his past associations. This is a significant development, and it should not be dismissed as mere celebrity drama. Instead, it represents the fall of Hollywood Babylon, a major shift in the entertainment industry. On Saturday, January 4th, fans noticed that Justin and Scooter Braun had stopped following each other on social media. Shortly afterward, it was confirmed that Justin had blocked Scooter, as his name was removed from tagged photos, and Scooter's likes on Justin's photos disappeared. Just a week earlier, Scooter had liked one of Justin's pictures. Justin wasn't alone in this move. Hailey Bieber also joined in, blocking Scooter as well. Then came the resurfaced interviews, Bieber speaking candidly about the struggles of being young in Hollywood, the people who failed him, and the trauma he is still processing. One viral moment stood out. Bieber, visibly emotional, spoke about wanting to protect young stars like Billie Eilish from the dark realities of the industry. Suddenly, that clip took on a whole new meaning. In a 2020 interview with Zane Lowe on Apple Music, Bieber expressed concern for Billie Eilish, saying, "I definitely feel protective of her. It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry, not knowing where to turn. Everyone tells you they love you, and then they turn their back on you in a second. I want her to know she can count on me, but at the end of the day, I'm never going to force myself into a relationship with her. It has to be natural. I just let her do her thing, and if she ever needs me, I'm going to be here for her." Watching that clip now, many fans feel Bieber was saying a lot without actually saying it outright. What was he trying to protect Billie from? Who was he so concerned about? And most importantly, what did he go through himself? As fans connected the dots, so did prosecutors. Diddy's legal troubles began with a single accusation. An aspiring musician, John Doe, claimed that Diddy drugged and assaulted him at a 2015 after-party. But that was just the beginning. The disgraced mogul has now been slammed with another lawsuit. An unnamed person has accused Diddy of drugging and assaulting him. The lawsuit, filed in New York, states that the incident took place in 2015. Prosecutors and lawyers representing the alleged victims claim that there is a substantial number of lawsuits against Diddy, real name, Sean Combs, including one that even named Jay-Z as an additional defendant. The lawsuit states that in 2015, the unnamed male victim approached Diddy with aspirations of becoming a rapper and singer. The 23-year-old was set to open for a popular music artist at a series of Los Angeles nightclubs. Before his performance, he was informed that Diddy would be in attendance and that, should his performance go well, Diddy might consider signing him to Bad Boy Records. Later that night, he attended an after-party where well-known entertainers were seen taking drugs. One of Diddy's associates handed the aspiring artist a drink, which he later realized was drugged. The unnamed person alleges that while unconscious, Diddy engaged in non-consensual sexual activities with him. In response to these accusations, Diddy's attorney stated, "As we've said before, Mr. Combs cannot respond to every new publicity stunt, even in response to claims that are officially ridiculous." However, more allegations followed. A full-scale investigation uncovered years of abuse, an alleged criminal enterprise, and a network designed to keep victims silent. According to another complaint, a Jane Doe accuser claims that in 2000, when she was only 13 years old, she and a friend went to Radio City Music Hall in New York City, where the Video Music Awards, VMAs, were taking place. Since she didn't have a ticket, she stayed outside until a limo driver for Sean Combs told her to come back later for an after-party. At this after-party, she claimed she was given a drugged drink, started feeling woozy, and went to find somewhere to lie down. That is when she alleges that she was raped by both Jay-Z and Sean Combs. Prosecutors now say that Diddy's infamous freak-offs may have involved many more victims, and the ongoing lawsuits could reveal an even darker reality. Offs, his private drug-fueled parties were far more sinister than the public ever imagined. Women, men, and even celebrities were allegedly caught in the crossfire, manipulated, and exploited under the guise of industry networking. This morning, new details allegedly inside Diddy's world before his shocking arrest. The entertainment mogul is now behind bars for federal sex trafficking and racketeering charges. It was a circus. He did whatever he wanted, and we were just at his disposal. Phil Pines was Diddy's senior executive assistant from 2019 to 2021. He says his then-boss asked him to purchase supplies for parties dubbed Wild King Nights. We usually had a laundry list of items that included lights, alcohol, marijuana, ketamine, and Molly. Those requests started to become more frequent. Pines claims many of these parties involved younger women. A lot of times, you would have him with a younger female. There's a power dynamic there. A more impressionable girl is easier to manipulate. Consent is between the people that are engaging, and I wasn't there in these situations to understand the consent. The new interview is part of Investigation Discovery's docuseries The Fall of Diddy. My job was to shield his private life from the public. Pines even shared audio he claims is of Diddy instructing him to bring various substances during those Wild King nights. So I need some cease, give me 20xx, please. He said, Phil, I need a plan B. I remember hearing the words, prove your loyalty to me, King. He grabbed me by the shoulders and pushed me toward a girl that was on the couch. Bieber was around for all of it. Now, the question isn't just what he saw, it's whether he too was a victim. Because if that video is as damning as insiders claim, it could change everything. Yeah, that's the thing. I have kids I don't even post, and then, the Twitter trolls say, oh, where are her kids? Well, I'm protecting them. And this is sad. I mean, this is sad. And this one with B, is this the Bieber one? Where are the parents? Yeah, well, which parent would say, you know what? We don't know you, but we know that you're a celebrity. Go and hang out with this guy for weeks on end by yourself. And at what time, at what era? These were the most critical years, by the way. Yeah, exactly. How is this both? How is this normal? They both turned into superstars. Yeah, that's the sacrifice you make. Yeah, that's the sacrifice. But one of them had to go to church, and he freaking lost his mind. Prosecutors say this is just the beginning. More witnesses, more evidence, and more unraveling of the empire Diddy built on intimidation and secrecy. Breaking news. Prosecutors have detailed new allegations against Sean Diddy Combs. Among these new charges, prosecutors say Combs led a criminal organization they called the Combs Enterprise. Members are accused of sex trafficking, traveling across state lines to engage in prostitution, arson, robbery, and obstruction of justice. Combs is being held at a federal jail in Brooklyn as of late, and he's already pleaded not guilty to charges of trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, and transportation for prostitution. For Justin Bieber, the past he's been running from might finally be catching up. For years, fans wondered why Bieber seemed to spiral, the drugs, the breakdowns, the self-destruction. Was it just the price of fame, or was there something deeper? Hey guys, welcome back. We're here at Hillsong Conference 2017, having the best time. And how are you guys doing? Are you guys enjoying the conference? Shout out Virgil. Yeah, it was a very good talk, very good. So we had, you know what? We had the best. Had a couple of cool moments, went to Young and Free. I think it's always really, so shout out Lorenzo. So my response is, I want to come closer to him. I want to live a life that's closer to God than ever before. Absolutely. Justin. Same as Carl. I want to get close like that with Jesus. No, I want to get better. I just want to love Carl more. You're doing a good job with that. So here's the truth, when you start looking at the pattern, you start seeing the bigger picture. Diddy's history of mentoring young male artists has always raised questions, his relationships with underage protégés, the way he positioned himself as their guide, their father figure. It was all carefully orchestrated. Yeah, Carl's preaching this year, which we're all going to be. But why do you think it's important? And there's a return. So there's a lot of people investing in different things. We all chose to invest in this, and our return has been supernatural. You came, and what the return is, if you don't like that, I would say maybe have a look at investing. It doesn't have to be this per se, but something that builds your soul. For us, it happens so much. I miss you, and I want you to come to Hillsong Conference next year with me. Yes. Now people are wondering, was Justin Bieber just another name on a long list? And if so, how deep does this really go? Even now, Bieber has remained quiet on the details. He's never outright accused Diddy of anything. But he doesn't have to, his actions speak louder than words. The unfollowing, the distancing, the way he refuses to speak on his past connections. Sonny Slaughter, let's talk about that. When we think about famous celebrities who are shaking in their boots this morning, I would imagine these investigators are going to want to talk to a lot of people. A lot of interviews may still need to be done. Would you speak to that, please? Sonny, the investigation aspect of this and what more needs to be done to gather all the information about what Diddy allegedly did. Good morning, Julie, and my esteemed colleague. So what I can tell you is that there has already been a lot of conversation with some of the celebrities who have been identified as victims. And another term that I use is victim perpetrators, so although some of these individuals may have been victims, they may have also been perpetrators who participated in the force, fraud, and coercion of others. So those investigations, those conversations have already started, and everyone, as I have stated before, needs to obtain legal counsel. Diddy has spent decades controlling the narrative, but the walls are closing in. And this time, he might not have a way out. Because this isn't just about lawsuits or allegations anymore, this is about something bigger. Something darker. We really didn't have very much say. So I would say that, as far as, songs, as far as the first album. The first album, the songs were picked and everything before we even came into the situation. And it was a great album. So, this is nothing against it, because it was a really great album. But at the same time, our creative portion of that wasn't in hand. We did a lot of the second. We had a lot to do with the second album and moving forward, you know what I mean? Well, Brian, you said, in terms of working with Diddy, you said when Diddy walks into the room, there's an aura about him that scares you. It's interesting. Speak on it. You think about that aura, and it wasn't like, be scared, don't be scared. No. It wasn't that. It was scary, and I might have used the wrong words. It was just like, okay, I got to prepare for whatever Diddy I'm about to receive today. I got to prepare for that, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes he'd be like, yo, what up? What up, El Bui? And sometimes he'd be like, don't try, motherfuck, D. Yeah, don't try, expletive, D. You know? I'm just like. And if the prosecution's evidence is as powerful as they claim, Diddy's empire isn't just crumbling, it's collapsing. For Bieber, the question now is, will he finally speak out, or will the industry that failed him once again convince him to stay silent? Would you rather have to be naked on stage during one full song, or drink a cup of blended worms? Justin Bieber, I have, little girl fans. I can't go, okay, imagine that. Imagine that was, no, I got believe. Get that off. Hey, this is a brand new. Has your mom given you the sex talk yet? I really don't want to have that conversation with my mother. I've kind of had it with my father. Oh, really? See, my parents never gave me the sex talk. Okay, that last one is really just the sickest, asking a young teenage boy whether or not he's had the sex talk, like he's doing a media hit on a radio, and she's asking him that as one of the questions. Have you had the sex talk? This is Hollywood for you, guys. This is what I've been speaking to you about, and it has just become so unbelievably clear that it is dark, and it is demonic. One thing is certain, this trial isn't just about Diddy. It's about everyone who enabled him, everyone who turned a blind eye. And if the truth finally comes out, it won't just be his legacy that's destroyed, it'll be the entire system that protected him. And that's the real story. According to federal prosecutors, Diddy's associates and members of the so-called Combs enterprise are the ones who helped arrange for these illegal freak-offs. The indictment goes on to say that members and associates of the Combs enterprise enabled Combs' control over victims by following his directions regarding financial payments to the victims, advancing or suppressing the victims' career opportunities, and acquiring the controlled substances Combs used to keep the victims compliant. It also alleges these associates knew of Diddy's physical brutality toward these survivors and would help Diddy conceal this by hiding victims in hotel rooms, waiting for their injuries to heal. At times, these associates allegedly tracked down any victims attempting to leave Diddy and then forced them to stay. Federal prosecutors allege these associates showed a willingness to conceal crimes and are guilty of a laundry list of offenses, including preserving, protecting, promoting, and enhancing the power of the Combs enterprise, including the power of its leader, Combs, through violence, use of firearms, threats of violence, coercion, and verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual abuse. For years, whispers about Diddy's parties, his influence over young stars, and the dark underbelly of his empire have been dismissed as industry gossip. But now, with a courtroom bombshell that left him visibly shaken, the game might finally be changing. What's on that footage? Is this the moment that unravels everything? And most importantly, will Justin Bieber finally speak out, or will the industry's biggest secrets stay buried? 50 Cent reveals why he believes celebrities are staying silent on the Diddy situation. While many celebrities have been outspoken against the alleged crimes of Diddy, there are also plenty who haven't spoken out at all. However, this could be for a variety of reasons. Maybe they just don't want to comment on it publicly. Maybe they were never the type to engage in online discussion, or they have other personal reasons to stay away from the topic. Still, during a recent interview with Enthusiast Report, 50 Cent posited that many celebrities are silent because they participated in Sean Combs' alleged freak-off parties. As such, Fifth thinks that they could be complicit in these alleged crimes. He did it. No, he did it, 50 Cent expressed regarding Diddy. He did it. He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually, but I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties. So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything, it's because they participated. I'm just not with all that freaky, expletive. Like, all of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say basic or normal. Of course, we don't need to do a ton of research to see how long 50 Cent has criticized Diddy and how much he continues to bash him. Most recently, he joked about the bad boy mogul starting his own baby oil line on Instagram and briefly addressed his long-standing issues with Combs in another IG post. Meanwhile, this comes amid news that a Texas law firm will reportedly represent over 50 other alleged sexual assault victims of Diddy and his colleagues. This is a group of brave individuals that include both men and women. Their statement partially read, "Many were minors when the abuse occurred." Some of these brave individuals reported the incidents to the police, others did not. Each individual story is gut-wrenching and heartbreaking. And if you want to stay on top of the latest developments, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the truth is coming, and you won't want to miss it.